And I am the incoming district governor for our district. And we are having a series of, these are called professional development and how-to programs for incoming club administrations. And the idea is those that participate in person get the benefit of chatting and meeting everybody and exchanging ideas. And those that are not going to have the opportunity to do that, we are recording them. And there is a resource center, and an email will go out next week with all of the recordings that we've done over the last 2 weeks. And where the resources are, where the sections are, and everything. I am delighted to meet all of you, if only via the Zoom. Many of you, we've been through a number of Zoom programs already this year. This year, the district had to do its very first Zoom education courses. And so we had the very first Zoom 8-week session for pre-pets, and we developed a sizable resource area for you on those. Secondly, we wound up with the PETS program, which is President-elect's training. And that is, we participate with the 3 other districts, and it's called Chesapeake PETS. And for the first time, that was done virtually. Now we are doing what used to be called DTA, and that's District Training Assembly. And we are doing that by Zoom. I am happy to report that going into next year, we will have a combination of Zoom and small group in-person meetings for pre-pets next year, headed by Sheila Brennan, who will follow me as district governor. We'll be using, again, this idea of having small groups, so you don't have to travel so far, and then we can all travel far and see each other during district conference and things like that, which would be a lot more fun. Thank you for being here this evening. I will just say, before I introduce my husband, who will be the PI coordinator and chair and director for this year, that here's what I hear. Think about this for PI. If you do a service project, if you issue a check to support a charity and no one reports on it, no one talks about it, did it ever really happen? And in the context of what Rotary is supposed to be doing, that is doing good in the world through service above self and making sustainable, permanent changes to improve our world and our communities, that's a huge problem. So PI is central to all of this. And without further ado, are you okay? Can I
Sure.
turn it over to
No, I'm okay. Sorry.
Well, no.
As Pat said, I am the PI chair for this upcoming year. I served as the PI chair 2 years ago under Jonathan Lucas. So hopefully I've learned something from that experience that I can bring here. I'm building a team to help me do all of this. I have a social media coordinator, Diane Hill. I have a newsletter coordinator and editor, Earl Bowman, and I'm the district photographer. Also, I will be, I'm Pat's a driver too, so that's my main job. I'll be driving her to all the various things. Hopefully I won't get lost. And I'm hoping that this is the first of several of these kinds of sessions that I'll have on public information, and hopefully I can lean on the zone people to help me out with some of these. Billy and I spoke about this a little several times. We also have available in our district several Facebook groups. We have a Facebook group for PIs, which I'll send out in the next couple of days. In fact, I'll send out all our social media links. We have Instagram, Twitter, and I have a district photo repository of all the photos and all the pictures that we took over the years. So I'll send that out as a link, and we and I will be available to help you to tell your Rotary story. And so the main event this evening is the assistant public image coordinator for Zone 33, Billy Black, who's kind enough to step in and give us the benefit of her knowledge and experience. So Billy, thank you very much.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome,
Appreciate it.
Billy. And why don't you tell them a little bit, the people, about the zone so that they're
Absolutely.
familiar with.
While I'm starting, I'd like everybody to make sure that you mute themselves so we don't get any dogs or telephones or anything in the background, because it's a little distracting.
We're choking.
And are there any public image chairs in the group, for a club public image chair? If you'll raise your hand for me. Okay, great. Those of you that are president-elects need to take copious notes and send them to the recording so that your public image chair can get up to speed. Now, I am in the zone, and I have been in the zone. I live in Western North Carolina in Appalachia. So I'm going to turn my camera off if it doesn't bother you, because I will be streaming lots of stuff, and streaming my picture is the least of what I need to do. And seeing how I can't find it, I might just leave it on there. Oh, there we go, stop video. Okay, so the zone that most of you might know, we have a zone representative that represents us in Evanston. And they also represent Zone 34, which starts in Georgia and goes into the islands. So if you've never been in Zone 34, that's pretty cool. You might go make up in the island somewhere. But we start at the Georgia border and go all the way up into Pennsylvania and across into Northern Maryland and the district. So we also go all the way over to West Virginia. So my team works with all the public image chairs like Dave to help his public image folks do their very best. And we will train Dave's counterparts, but we also like to come into your district from time to time. And Dave and I and Pat have already talked about that just a little bit. Now, Dave, you didn't mention that your TV channel, and I remember you and I talking about that. And that's pretty cool. There's not too many districts that have a TV channel.
Yes.
And
Rotary Times.
yes, so that's pretty cool. Kudos to you for coming up with that.
Well, I didn't come up with it, but
Oh, and I've got my email address. I love it. I've got my email address wrong, so I'll give it to you again at the end. I've got an extra, a 9 in there instead of a 0, so don't look at that. I thought I'd proofed everything, but isn't that just all the way it is? Now, for years, we called ourselves public relations, and it was PR. But several years ago, we started calling ourselves public image. And it was right around the time when they did a whole bunch of surveys about Rotary, and they found out that most folks, when shown our emblem, think that if they knew what the emblem was, they think we're a bunch of old men that get together for lunch, and that's it. And so that's when, in about 2014, they started to say, we're going to change up our logo. We've got to change up everything that we do and really do a bigger push so that we get to be just like, if you see the golden arches, what is that?
hamburger.
McDonald's.
It's McDonald's.
McDonald's.
How about a brown truck when it comes up to your house?
UPS.
UPS, absolutely. So we want Rotary, when people look at Rotary and a sign for Rotary, we want to say, those are the people that do good in the world. So public image is the perception that people have. Let's see if I can make that smaller. when they see our brand and our actions, but public relations helps us build and maintain a positive public image. Public relations requires us to have effective dialogue, to tell our stories, and to gain exposure so that we can promote we're doing good in the world. Now let's think about public image. It's what other people think about us, not what we think about ourselves. So here's the kitty, and he thinks he's a lion. Is that the direction that we're going? Make sure that we know that what our perception is matches. This is what most folks think we look like, but I would say we're closer to this. So when you're posting pictures, make sure that you look something like this rather than the other picture, or we're going to turn a whole lot of people off. So the first thing I'm going to lead you to, a place to learn some more, is the Learning Center. And I'm not sure who it was, but they were saying it was kind of hard to find the training course for youth. And this is the training course for the Learning Center. And that's the same place that you would find the youth training. So having heard that it's hard to find, I'm glad that there is a breadcrumb at the top. And a breadcrumb is something that you follow online to get to where you're going. So if you see the blue bar under the words Learning Center, there's course catalogs, and then there's public image. So you sign into My Rotary, scroll about halfway down and go to the Learning Center and choose public image. And there are 7 public image classes. And I'd like you to challenge you and your public image person to take all 7 of these classes. They're about 10 to 12 minutes long. They're not very long, but you will learn something different and something new in each course. So the first 4 at the top are building your public image, club public image. Now the district public image, you might say, I don't need that, but you always learn something. It's all about public image. And then our logo, what does it look like? What does it not look like? And then we've got the last 3, promoting your club as people of action, public relations, and the Rotary brand. So give yourself the challenge of taking a couple of these courses, maybe once a week, and getting into them and learning more about it. And I'm going to give Dave that challenge to you all. Now, in the same place, remember we're logged into My Rotary, and we're scrolled about halfway down, and we see the Learning Center. You will also see the Brand Center. And you click on the Brand Center, and it also has several great pieces. It has a People of Action campaign, and you simply click on Learn More. Tell Rotary's story, or our guidelines, things to do, things not to do, how big the logo needs to be, the colors the logos need to be, and then logos. And then below that are materials, and the materials are copious. There are things like a PowerPoint template. There's a template for a brochure for your club. So if you're a small club like mine, and you might only have 11 people, there might not be somebody that is really skilled in making a brochure. You can go to this place and get a brochure, and then just add your own pictures, your own officers and things like that, and you have a brand new brochure. It also helps you promote your club. So lots of things in materials. And then ads, if you're in a place like Dave is, where he has his own TV station or TV channel, I guess, there are great ads. There can be print ads, there's outdoor ads for billboards, and there's radio ads to promote Rotary in your community. And once again, sometimes these are pricey to produce, but they come pre-produced and ready for you to add your club name. And then of course, images and videos, lots of great videos to show to your club, to share with your club, and images that you can use. But I would suggest that you should always use images of your very own club, because it's much more powerful in your hometown to have pictures of folks that they know.
Yes, so, but Billy, we use the brand center to produce our club brochure.
Oh, great. And how
And
does that work for you?
oh, it was great. It was easy. And we used our own photos. All of these are our photos. So you're able to throw in your stuff. And so it's a pretty neat way to get your story out.
It is, and it's pretty slick, you know, so it's not like you've opened a Word doc and tried to fit it in 3 columns. I'm sure some of you have tried to work with that. It just doesn't look as slick, and this is really very professional looking. So moving on with the brand center, 2 pieces that I'd like you to get in and look at are logo templates and Rotary logos. Now, the Rotary logos are all the logos that you might want to have, such as the Rotaract logo and the Interact logo and the theme logo, the foundation logo, any of those that you might want for a program or for a brochure, you would find there, and they come ready to use. The logo templates help you create your own club logo. So the club logo should have that Rotary emblem next to the word Rotary, and then club of, and then your location. I don't know how many people have a club like mine. We're the Breakfast Club, and there is an existing noon club. So they call the members of my club say, oh, you know, the Noon Rotary Club and the Breakfast Rotary Club. Well, that's not our name. Our name is the Rotary Club of Franklin Daybreak, and theirs is the Rotary Club of Franklin. And this really forces you into what is our name. You can also create a lockup with partnerships that you're doing, so you can take their emblem and put it up the other side. This is a great place to go. And again, it's in Brand Center, and you simply click View. And here's what it looks like. It's create your own. And there's the logo lockup. So you could create a lockup or 2 logos that are together in one. And when you move it around, it's all right there. And then your club logo. And then there's People of Action, print ads and People of Action that fit perfectly for Facebook. Now, I want to talk a minute about these, and please, we're going to take a little time, so unmute yourself and tell me what the big blue logo is at the top right.
The RI wheel.
Okay, it's the RI wheel. Does anybody know what RI calls that?
Mark of excellence.
Yes, it's the mark of excellence. And I actually have a cheat sheet for you in white. So if that's the mark of excellence, what is that middle logo?
Master brand.
Yes, it's the master brand. Is that Dave
Yeah.
answering everything?
Yeah.
Dave, hush.
I'll shut up. Okay.
And then the last one at the bottom, there's only one thing left. Who would like to take that one? I like it when you're in.
Logo.
Thank you. It's the theme logo. Now let's talk about these 3 logos. The mark of excellence cannot be by itself. That blue logo may not be by itself. So if you want to use it somewhere else on the page, you have to have the master brand. And you cannot use it without the words Rotary International inside the cog. There are very specific things about how big it must be, how it can be smaller, but it can't be too small. So Rotary is trying to force you into using the master brand, which has the word Rotary. And that's what we heard over and over again in the surveys is that, you know, if you're Rotary, why don't you say you're Rotary? So we want to use the word Rotary with the cog whenever we can. Now, what about this Serve to Change Lives? That's the logo for Pat's Year. It should not be used. Now, again, all of these are suggestions, but it should not be used for your public portrayal. So I wouldn't put it necessarily on Facebook, because what happens is it confuses folks. They say, well, if that's the Rotary logo, what's this other thing?
Mhm.
You know, and you don't have McDonald's saying, oh, well, you know, these 2 straight lines this year are going to be our symbol. this year we're going to have an orange truck. So this is more internal. It'd be great to use for your meetings, to hang your banner on, from your stand. And it's also great in your bulletins, maybe even in your brochure. But when you're talking to the public, use the one in the middle. Any questions about those three? Because it's pretty critical. Okay, now, when we're out and in the public, whenever you can, put on a Rotary shirt. It might be a Rotary t-shirt, it might be a nice looking dress shirt or a polo. And I really like the work vest that many clubs have invested in. They get a few larges, a bunch of extra larges, and it says Rotarian at work. And sometimes they have Rotary Club of Franklin Daybreak, we're at work, or serving people, or whatever you want to say on it. And you put those on when you're out in the public working, when you're picking up trash or you're planting trees, and it lets people immediately know who you are. You might also invest in a sandwich board or something of that sort. We have a banner that comes out of a container at the bottom and it goes up. Well, it is really cool for indoors. If you put it outdoors, it turns into a sail and it goes down the road. So something more like a sandwich board might say something like another great project of the Rotary Club of Warrington. So make sure that you're identifying yourself. As Pat says, does the project exist if you don't talk about it? And the first place is when you're out there doing the project, show who you are. And while we're talking about showing who we are, 90% of your information that you get is transmitted to the brain visually, and it's processed 60,000 times faster than text. And for example, you will only remember 10% of what you hear today, but if the same information is supported by a visual, you will retain 65%. And so that's why I have so many pictures, because I'm hoping that pictures will help you remember what we're talking about. Let's see. I want to make sure that you choose visuals which tell who we are and what we do. Instead of the checks, and we have lots of discussions about this on the district level, of the check presentation. Instead of using that check presentation, or in addition to using the check presentation, show the results of your project. So there's one district in our vicinity that donates millions of shoes, and each club typically presents the check to the district governor and says, this is how much we're donating. Well, instead of doing that, maybe off to the side, you show the check and then show the big pile of shoes. The visual is so much more, will stay with people, and it was more meaningful. And make sure that your images are exciting. So this one is People of Action, and it's a picture of a club, and they took their picture and added Together We Connect. And the logo at the bottom, and I hope you can see the logo at the bottom, I want you to take a picture of the very bottom. It's https://app.poaphotos.com. So it's quicker just to take a picture. Otherwise, you can write it down, and I'll make sure that Dave passes it on. So I'm going to hope that this link works.
That's not is that a Rotary site or just a?
This is not a Rotary site.
It's not a Rotary site.
But you can go to People of Action in the Brand Center and do this. But I have found that people that are not as technically savvy find it's easier to use this POA site. So we're at the POA site, People of Action Photo Editor, and you simply open your photo. And I put something at the top. And of course, it's not going to show. There we go. So that picture opens up, and this is one of our district grants. It's called Muddy Sneakers, and it gets the kids out of the classroom once a month, and they learn science in the field. So here is the picture that we want to do. We click on templates, Rotary, and then we're going to choose what the logo is. And I'm going to say, Together We Learn. I pop that up there, and now it's on the picture. Whoops, I got it twice. And what I like about this, as opposed to the brand center, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, and you can move it up and down. So there is my new People of Action logo with the kids. And I might see, I can't get it any bigger, but I think I might. There we go. Together We Learn. So you simply save this, and this is ready for Facebook. And you can say something like, we have a district grant where we use Rotary Foundation money to put into our schools so that our kids have hands-on science. Together We Learn. So that is so easy, and you just simply save it now, and you've got it ready to go.
That's a nice site. That's great.
So try that. That's your homework. I want everybody to try a photo that you might already have. Now, putting a check up there is going to defeat the whole purpose. So that's People of Action.
You know, Billy, people love that check.
They do, and I keep hearing that. But people from the outside looking at that check say all they do is give money. They don't know that we do.
Stuff. Yeah. Important stuff. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Important stuff, not just stuff.
No, not just stuff.
Important stuff. But as we always say, it's your club and there are no Rotary police. However, that's kind of my job.
Billy, this is Gary. Quick question.
Yes, Gary.
What file format does this save those altered images as?
That's a good question. I believe it saves it as a JPEG, but you can save it as either JPEG or a PNG, and I like the PNG better because it's more versatile.
Okay.
And it's part of that, when you go to save, it asks you which one you want to save it. And I think you can even save it as a PDF, which again is not versatile at all, but depending on what you're doing, that's what you need. And here's some public image that are a little bit more exciting than what we're used to, but you know, still within the bounds of what our clubs like to do and see. So, and these are from all over our zone. Okay, now public relations, effective public relations. And this is important for you president-elects. We speak with one voice. So you and your PI person need to speak with one voice. You need to go out and find what you're supposed to be doing, the logos you're supposed to use, and speak with one voice. Be a brand ambassador. Make sure that you're using the correct logo and invite people to use the correct logo. And share member and supporters experience and engage and energize our members. Part of your public image job is to re-engage some of our members that are not doing so much out there. Let's see. Okay. So let's talk about your club and the club public image team. If you're president-elect, I am hoping that you have chosen the one person that's going to be your public image chair. And I say chair because it's a team effort. So that chair then needs to work with you and pick somebody that might be the picture, you know, the photographer. I love that your district has a photographer. Somebody that might do Facebook, somebody that makes sure that your website is updated. So that who is really important. Now, who can tell me, which of you president-elects can tell me how to tell the district who your public image person is? I'm going to wait for an answer.
You register at DAC-DB.
Awesome. Who was that? He's
Jay
not going to
Black
tell.
from Matthews.
Jay Black.
Excellent. Jay, you have a great last name. Jay is absolutely right. You put the public image person in the same place that you tell the district and Rotary who your treasurer is, who your secretary is, and it will roll up to a committee that Dave can P-mail. So from time to time, we've already talked about, we have a great young woman who works public image in Maryland, and she wants to come and talk to you guys about storytelling, not elevator speech, but storytelling and how to tell your Rotary story succinctly and professionally. So I love that you're going to identify your public image person so that Dave knows who that is. Then you're going to conduct a review. Does anybody know what that means when you're going to conduct a review? And you should be doing that now. I'm going to look at you. Y'all are staring at me. How about you, Thomas? Do you know what it means to conduct a review?
I assume that means
I'm,
that,
all right, unmuted. Well, I would imagine, see what we have done in the past, what has worked, what hasn't, what feedback we've gotten. I don't know.
Well, that's a great start. What have we done in the past, and what hasn't worked? And sometimes I've learned more from my failures than I ever had from my successes. And the second piece of that is look at every place that you've got out there. Look at the website and make sure that the website is updating to all the new information. Make sure that your Facebook page is updating to new information. Make sure that any place that you've got stuff, it's all going to the new information. And we're going to look at a couple places, and then you're going to make a plan and you're going to execute the plan. So let's look at what the plan might look like. Dave, when I have this pictures, are you seeing the pictures on y'all's screen, or
Yes.
the pictures of the people?
Oh, no, I just see the Rotary
Okay.
Public Image Zone 33.
Excellent. So here are two examples of things that you could use for your plan. And I'm going to ask you to make a written plan.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
presidents, ask your public image chair to make a written plan, and you might sit down with them. It wouldn't take you more than 10 or 15 minutes. And I could send you these so that you would have these to use. And actually, I'll be showing you where you can find them. So talk about your audiences. You know, when are you talking to different audiences, and what kind of materials do you have? What is your public image objective and your strategies and so forth? And then you will want something that tells you what to do. What happens in February that would be significant that you want to tell the world about? Juliet, do you know what happens in February that the public might want to know and you could write a great Rotary story about?
Other than Valentine's Day.
Well, actually, Rotary Has a Heart is one of those. And Ann Matthews, when she was our Rotary district person, zone person, she started Rotary Has a Heart, and it was a feeding program. So if y'all are still doing Rotary Has a Heart, that's a good one. But Rotary's birthday is in February. So that would be a great one. You know, you could create a cake, and I think it's going to be 116 years next year. So put a cake out there and say happy birthday to us, and then use that opportunity always when you have an opportunity to put something in the newspaper or in Facebook to tell more. happy birthday, but did you know that Rotary is about to eradicate polio from the face of the earth? Did you know that Rotary has, 75,000 water projects going on at any one time? Did you know that Rotary is a 4-star charity on charitynavigator.com? So don't just leave it at happy birthday. Tell something awesome about Rotary. And a calendar like that will help you not forget some significant things. And what this does, like we all know, November is Foundation Month, but sometimes we don't remember until it's right upon us. And then we're scrambling to find a picture and we're scrambling, what can we say about this? So this lets you know ahead of time what's coming up. And I would go so far as to say, who's going to put an article in the newspaper for Rotary Foundation Month? Who's going to post in Facebook and so forth? And on what date would they do that? And so these are all written public image plans for your club. And we find that if you write it down, it typically gets done. So let's all create a public image with the who, what, and where. Now this has to do with updating. So go out there and look at your brochure. Do you need to update or spruce up your brochure? How about your website? Does it need some updating, some sort of brushing off? Facebook pages. If you have an Instagram, you might want to post, we're starting our new Rotary year and here are our new officers. Something, maybe even have a highlight for each officer once a month in Facebook. Yes, Dave?
Billy, it's important to keep these things up to date. Facebook, websites. I've seen Facebook pages in our district that are like they're 6 months old. They have stuff now from this last summer, and nothing says inaction. People of inaction, like an outdated Facebook page or a website. So I encourage people to keep your stuff up to date. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. And that's what this is for. So in March, you should say somebody's going to post to the Facebook page about this, 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 and this. And you don't have to post every single day, but something cool that you could do weekly is say our speaker this week is so-and-so from the Clean Water Association, and post their website as well. So people know, what you're going to do, what's coming up. Instead of posting after the fact with him standing behind the podium, it's a little more exciting saying, wow, our speaker this week is, and then post their website. And that will give you something new every week. Even maybe post your assemblies. So those are your written plans, and go out there and look at every single piece of information that you've got and make sure it's up to date or bring it down. You want to update everything. Here's the old wheel. How many of you have this old wheel outside your town? Anybody willing to admit that you've got the old wheel out there? No hands are going up. There's somebody saying he's not going to admit it. Okay, well, this is one that we did. We got together with all of our service organizations, and it's at Town Hall, and there's the new logo, and it tells when we meet. So it doesn't have to be expensive, but we really do need to get rid of the old legacy logo. Update everything. I'm going to hit on Pat. Pat, what shirt, if she's still there, what shirt do you have on? Show us your Rotary shirt.
Okay. This one, wait a minute. This one is the old Rotary shirt.
Yes,
because this is the one I wear in the house to kind of be warm, but
yes,
all my other Rotary shirts are up to date.
absolutely. But you see that when I was governor, one of our governors said, well, I'll make shirts for everybody. And she made the old shirt. Now, granted, we were just 1 year into it, but I still have that shirt because I can't make myself throw it away, but I don't wear it. But you see on the right-hand side, there's my my new Rotary shirt. So look at everything. And if your club doesn't have updated polos, maybe this is the year you update your polos, or get everybody a t-shirt so that when you're working outside in the public, this is the year that you decide to do it. But if you decide to do it, please use a licensed Rotary apparel person. They, number one, they pay for that privilege, and number two, they are held to rigorous standards. If you look at the old Rotary shirt there, they tell them how many stitches it must be, and you have to submit something to them before you're allowed to do that. So I know that there are probably people in your town that can do this, but I would encourage you to use a licensed Rotary individual. Now, when I say update everything, how many of you take your Rotary magazines and put them in waiting rooms all around your town? Well, you might go retrieve those. Yes, Helen does. You might retrieve those and put a whole new batch out so that you've got what's, the new president and the new things that are happening. So when people are reading about Rotary, they're reading about the latest and greatest. Okay. What else might you update? Maybe Pat wants to do her car. In 2015, that was my car. And it said District 7670. You can barely see it on the side. And on the back, it said, follow me for Rotary Fun. So, don't just stop at a sign or a shirt. You can do all kinds of things. And I can't tell you the number of people who stopped me, or I'm stopped at a red light that said, what is Rotary? So I ended up having to have brochures because the stoplight's not enough time for me to holler at somebody what Rotary is. So think about what else your club can do to advertise the good things we do in Rotary.
See, Dave, there's the wrap car.
Yeah, there's the wrap car.
I saw that.
All righty. Well, the funny story is my husband is extremely conservative and he is a Rotarian. And when my stepdaughter saw the car, she said, oh my, Billy, what have you done with my dad? And who is this man? Because when we were kids, we couldn't even have a bumper sticker on the car. All right, now, easy. There are things to help you in DACDB. And I loved it that several of you said DACDB. There are easy stories, easy bulletins, and your website with DACDB. Now, an easy story can be written in DACDB, and then it goes straight to your easy bulletin if you choose, and it can go straight to your website with DACDB. And after you have published it, there's a little button at the top right that you can share with the district, so the district can see what each of your clubs are doing and put a picture in. Now, I am going to, let's see if I can get, there's DACDB. Okay, here's DACDB. And you notice that I've got, this is my club, and I have easy bulletin here, and I have club bulletins, which are all my old bulletins, and I don't see easy stories. You simply have to scroll down to find easy stories. And there it is, Club Easy Stories. If you don't see it on your page, these are customizable. So you click the gear at the top right, and it tells you all the pieces that could be there. And you simply, these are things that are already there, and you can take them down if you're not going to use them, or you can put them up. So this makes it really easy. And then you just say, set my configuration, and those things move around. The other thing is, if you're the public image person, you don't need club finance up here. You need easy bulletin, club bulletin, and easy story. That's how easy it is to move them around. So make this page your own so that it's easy to do. When you go to easy stories, these are all of the stories that have been published. There's the story name. Is it going to be visible? And it will show on the website, the home page, the dashboard, and in the bulletin. And here's the story date. Now you can make these expire. Now I'm going to show you one which will make you laugh, because look what we had on our bulletin. There he is. There's our program standing at the podium. Doesn't that look exciting? Now that will go straight to our website. And so we'll have something new on our website every week. And if you go to home, there it is on the home page as well. So, and then we can share it up to the district. You can also, I'll show you very quickly the bulletin. Once you create your bulletin, let me take a published one. You first have to create and say what you want it to look like. So we chose to have our logo at the top and our club leaders down the side. And there's that picture again, right? So once you've written the story one time, it goes everywhere you want it to go. And then down at the bottom, there's our club assignments, and here's our birthdays. All of that flows in there because of the way we set up our bulletin. So if that's of interest to you or you'd like to use that, then let David know and we can do a class on how to do this. Now, let me tell you one more thing, and that is, oh, I did, there it is. That is a website. And I am gonna show you our district. So it's Rotary7670.org. And it is a DACDB website. And of course, it's going to go too slow for us to see it. Oh, good. And so there again, you choose how you want it to be shown. The pictures scroll, so it always looks like you have something new. Your Facebook page comes in, and your calendar and your stories come in. There's more. This is all stored in our district files. So it makes it really easy to have an updated website without doing much work. A lot of people say, oh, I think we're going to hire somebody to make us a snazzy website. Well, then it's stuck in time and nobody can. Yes, sir?
Oh, I'm saying, and it's stuck in time and money. We use, our club uses Easy Story for our website, and it is a nice tool. It does work well.
Now, on July 1, this logo will change and the calendar will change. And so it does its own maintenance. So if you're interested, and I hate to hawk for DACDB, but DACDB is having a promotional. So if you're buying one thing, there's pricing. And if you're buying 2 items, and what I'm seeing a lot of is people are buying the finance package and the website. And I'm going to have a little pitch for DACDB. If you don't use DACDB, if you use something else, you are already paying for it in your dues. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pat. Does everybody pay $1 in their dues for the attendance module?
There is, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, they do pay a certain percentage.
Yes.
But the clubs make their own decision. We still, I will point out, we have 8 or 9 clubs that are on Club Runner.
Right. And what I would suggest is to those clubs, if any of you are out there, you're already paying some to the district for DACDB, and it would make us universal so that your stories would go up to the district website and to the district bulletin. And it makes it just more uniform so everybody can find everybody else. But that's just my pitch. So that's pricing. And that is the short version of DACDB. And let's see if I can get back there we go. I was way down here somewhere. Okay, so we were at Easy Stories. And from this slide, this is another one that I want you to take a picture of. I say use our tools. When I'm saying it's the zone tools. There is a zone website that is rizones3334.org. And there's lots of cool things out there and interesting information. But if you go one step further and do Z33PI, that's our toolbox. And we have placed out there all kinds of tools. This is what it looks like when you go there, and note the templates and resources on the left-hand side. When you make that bigger, you see this year's PI resources. And when you click on that, here is our toolbox. So lots of tools that people have trouble finding on the RI website, we have placed here so that you don't have any trouble finding it. So like the People of Action campaign, this is actually a document that talks about the People of Action campaign. So if you've never gone here, take a few minutes and look at that and see what's there. You might not use but 2 or 3 things, but it's lots easier to find. We also have a YouTube channel called Zone 33 TV, and we have lots of recordings on there on how to do things, particularly with Canva. So if you're interested in Canva, we have a member of our team that's pretty good with it, and Dave could invite her to teach
Yes.
you more about Canva.
I would like to. I will, in fact.
So here's our PI tools. So there's the voice and visual identity guide, the messaging guide. It has all the logos and the guide to the logos, the club social media guide. If you ever want to do a program on the zone, there's a great zone map there. So that's just a sampling of the things that are out there in that toolbox.
Yeah, it isn't.
Yes.
It is a nice toolbox. I've used it quite a bit.
So if we could only give you 2 tools, our #1 choice would be this voice and visual guide, and the updated version is out there. And inside that, it tells you exactly the colors that you can take to your printer to print the right Rotary blue. It even has our essence, our messaging, a little history of how we got to this place, logos, signature systems, how to do lockups, and the color palette. And it even does things like if you're going to order a polo shirt, here's how it must look. I mean, they lay it out for you, 3 inches from this and 4 inches from that. So, I mean, this document is one that you should print and keep it. Presidents and public image folks should keep at hand. And I'd love to have it printed in color. Mine's in black and white, but such is life. And the second one is the Rotary vision statement. And I would say if you can't remember anything else, remember the Rotary vision statement. That's the best elevator speech that I can imagine you doing. And it's together we see a world where people unite, take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Some folks just use it as a kickoff, and they use this in their mind to tell people about what Rotary is. But there is a t-shirt out there that has that on the back, and it has the 7 areas of focus on the front. And then that t-shirt tells about what Rotary does. It's such an awesome shirt. Now, we got just a couple minutes, and I want to talk about Zoom because we're going to continue to Zoom this next year. And we're going to have Zoom and live. So it's going to be a combined piece. Now, those of you that are going to attend from home, I'm going to ask you to turn on your camera so that people know you're out there. If they just see your name, it's very easy just to see 3 names up on the wall and you forget that there are more people out there. So that means you got to dress up. You can't be in your pajamas and your hair curlers or whatever. You can have your cup of coffee, but be aware that we can see you. Camera up. And those presidents in the audience, I want you to remember to engage those folks. From time to time, you might do a poll, or you might ask a question, and make sure you ask it of the people on the screen. Use videos, whatever it takes. There's also a very reasonable, it's under $100, called the Anchor Power Conference. That's one of the coolest things that goes on in a Rotary meetings is sort of the side quipping, where somebody hollers something out to the president and, well, what about your budget? And, just fun things, or, oh, that's because you like sand and whatever. But you don't hear that because there's one microphone. So if you put in the middle of the room, it will pick up happy dollars. It'll pick up all kinds of stuff that are going on in the room and will help those folks on the screen be more engaged. If you don't get something like that, make sure that you get either a wired mic that has a long wire or a wireless mic so that you take the mic to people while you're doing happy dollars. What do you have to be happy about? And make sure that you're taking that microphone. Again, you want to engage the people in the Zoom room. So this is a picture of us. It's your zone 33 coordinators. And you notice that I really work with North Carolina. The young person that is above my face, Ashley Waters, is your contact.
Mhm.
But any of us can help you. And we each have our own specialties. I'm kind of a DAC-DB guru, and Ashley is a professional public image person.
That's
So
good.
feel free. And I know that David will be contacting them, but if you want a public image program, especially now, while we can come into your living rooms and I can stay in my living room, it's so awesome to come and just give a 15-minute program on public image.
Absolutely.
So please use us, and it's been my pleasure to be with you this evening. Any questions?
All right, this dates me.
Uh-oh.
Talk about a letterhead for emails. Is it possible to create a letterhead that you can use when you send out emails? For example,
Absolutely.
okay, where are the directions for it?
Okay, well, if you're going to use a Word doc, you pull up your Word doc. Let's see if I can do it real quick. And if you're doing a P-mail, those of you that are presidents and you're sending something to your members weekly, you use a P-mail and you create a template ahead of time. So you go out and you make your logo, and I'm trying to pull it up, but I live in Southern Appalachia. Oh, there we go. Things go about at a hamster speed. But you simply go out, create your logo, and save it where you can find it again. And then you put your logo at the top of the page. And of course, it's not going to take so, but you can do the same thing in DAC-DB as a template for your P-mails. So insert.
Just as long as I know it's possible.
It is
Yes.
possible, yeah.
So you insert, you add your picture, which is your logo, and then you come back here and you center it so that the logo is up there at the top, and you can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. You can put an automatic date in there, but yes, it's very possible.
It is.
And that may be another class that we do on P-mail and templates.
Right.
Yes.
But yes, you can do this.
Now, Billy, they'll also get a copy in addition to the recording. We'll get a copy of your PowerPoints, correct?
Absolutely.
Good.
Okay.
I think what I'll do is I'll put it out in the toolbox and call it 7610 PI.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell people how to get, I'll send out a little explanatory thing on how to get there.
I put all of my notes underneath each slide, what I typically would say. I may not have said it tonight, but what I would have said for each slide.
Great.
Okay?
Yes, Billy, thank you so
That
much.
was
Thank you,
fantastic.
Dave.
Thank you.
And thank everybody for being here. As you know, we start on time and we end on time.
Yay.
So look forward this year. We will have we're going to do 2 Zooms a month. You can attend them or not. One is going to be a how-to, and it'll be on different subjects: PI, membership in PI, service projects and PI, etc. And then one will also just be a learn about Rotary and introducing you to our international leaders. And you get an opportunity to hear some interesting speakers that you can then bring to your club. Everybody, thank you so much. And I look forward to working with all of you. And thank you for being Rotarians. And thank you for taking a leadership job. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you.